Hey, now in this episode, we've got something super exciting for you because 4 times per month, myself and my father Paul go ahead and get on live coaching calls. So these are on video, in live from wherever you are in the world, and it's an opportunity to get your questions answered, to be able to give you the strategies and to give you the one-to-one attention in this group, where there's one-to-one processes in the program as well. But it's one of those things that we do 4 times per month, and myself and my father takes these calls. You'll actually be hearing a lot more from him, hopefully in the near future. I want to get some podcasts out with him, breaking down things. The first one will be about himself, just so you get a good understanding and who he is, where he's heading, and how he actually helped me to become the person I am today in terms of this journey of mine, of having let go of my issues. Was a great thing because he put me on my path. So in this episode, he's not in it, but you will be able to hear from him in the future. He just takes the group coaching calls too in our program. But I wanted to give you an insight on one of these. This was actually on the 2nd of March. So since then, we've done a lot more, right? 4 times per month, so we can make sure we can support everyone in the program, answer questions. And although this is a video call and I am actually doing diagrams on my whiteboard on one of my programs that I use, it all still should make total sense. There's got a couple of processes in it. We always do processes on these calls as well, so we can really take what people are going through and put that. So I think you're going to get value from it. It is only in this one long file. That's how we do it. I usually break it down into certain sections on the replays, but I did still want you to get access to this program, this group coaching call. So I hope you enjoy it. And once again, as always, look, if you want to be a part of something special, if you want to systematically let go of your issue for good and you're ready for this, if you're a good fit with us, I'm sure, without a doubt, and only if you are a good fit, do we actually accept people, because we want to make sure we've got 100% success so far, so we want to keep that going. So only the right people can join, but if you feel like you could be one of those, and you're like, look, I want to get in this, I want to be accepted into the program, go to josephclough.info/go, josephclough.info/go. So with that, let's go straight into this replay from the 2nd of March of this year. Enjoy. Who is excited for today's call? Are you ready? If you're ready, go ahead and let me know. This is a fantastic morning in Southern California. It is raining, which is always nice to see. Although we've had so much rain this year, I think we've had more rain than we did all year last year, I believe. So, fantastic. No worries about the all caps. It's kind of weird because sometimes it's like we're shouting, but I get it. Sometimes it happens. So, welcome everybody. I'm so excited for this call, as I always am, because it means we're in a perfect place, a perfect opportunity to make a difference in who we are and where we're heading. So if you are ready, if you're excited, what is the first thing? We've got some new members, so welcome to the new members. I know some of you joined I think you joined Paul's call. This might be your first call with me personally, because we kind of open things up again. And I am super excited. So yeah, thank you, Kevin, for saying welcome. So welcome everybody. I'm so happy for you to be here, because as I said, it means, I'm going to turn my volumes down on my recording a little bit. I think that's okay. Welcome to our family. And that's what I really love, is because we really know that to be true. This is, I think, one of the most supportive families online, because we're all in the same place. We're all wanting to make the same kind of changes, and we all have the same missions and visions. And together, we're stronger. We don't feel alone. We feel as if we have a sense of belonging. We've got the same kind of purpose in there. And this is why I love doing this, because when one or more or two or more people come together, that's where exciting times happen. Okay, so it's gonna be super fun. I do plan to do something cool today if we have time. Kevin said, Get ready for some excitement and total acceptance. Absolutely, acceptance to your total power in who you are. So what is the first thing that we do as we start? I mean, there's some new people here. They don't know, so what do we do? That's right, James. We do the mind, and Cheryl, and April, we do the Mind Mastery Manifesto. So we all know what's happening, and for those who don't, be ready. I'm going to move some things out of my way here. Okay, so let's go ahead straight to it. So this is the Mind Mastery Manifesto. And ultimately, the intention behind these words are for us to shine in this next hour or so. We always go a little bit over. To be able to figure out at a deep unconscious level to open up new ideas and possibilities. So the very nature of putting this intention out there means we're ready to learn, we're ready to grow, and we're asking our unconscious mind to support us along the way. So whether you say it with me, whether you say it out loud, whether you say it on the inside, or whether you just be calm, relaxed, and listen to it, because I'm going to read it out. Well, however you do it is just perfect. So, with that in mind, let's go straight to it. So, I am awake. I take responsibility for my life and circumstance rather than being a product of it. I take inspired action on my dreams. My unconscious mind, my best friend, listens to me more than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. I never ask why me. I ask how can I make things happen while having fun. I am the peaceful warrior slayer of my past, breathing in the beauty of the now and consciously creating my future. Others' opinions are not my business. Instead, I give life to my love for life. I am the example of what can be done. I am enough, and whatever I think, I am always more. I am worthy and good enough. I enlighten the illusionary darkness. I am love. I am awake. So welcome to the call. That means we're ready. It causes our brain, our body, to be receptive to what we're about to go through today. And I'm super, super excited. My energy is always high in these calls because I just love them so much, because I just want you to shine so much more. So with that in mind, the new thing we've been doing this year is about celebrating our wins. So let me just take this share off. We do celebrating our wins. So if you do have any wins, any things that like you've had an epiphany about, any learnings you've had, any ideas. I know we've had some great epiphanies in the Facebook group itself. So if you're not there already, just go to facebook.com/groups/mindmastery and you'll be able to get access. Obviously, you've got to just say that obviously you're a member with the email you sign up on so we can check upon it, because loads of people try to join every day, but obviously we only allow people in this program. So if you do have any wins or anything in which you would like to share in things that you've stepped up for, any epiphanies or learnings or growth or anything like that, just put it in the Q&A box maybe. You can put it quickly in the chat. I will grab that, but it could get buried pretty quickly. And I should just say, if you do have any specific questions along the way, put it in the Q&A box, because that means it won't get buried. I'll be able to get it, because usually the questions that we get will allow you to have more questions, and that means it just creates this wonderful energy. So if you do have questions in there, go ahead and put them in the Q&A box. I was just looking for one in the Facebook group because I thought it was amazing. So I know Deanie said in the group, I just had to tell y'all to, because that's kind of like a Texan thing, y'all, right? Or I think it's other parts as well. But I remember when I lived in Austin, Texas, there was lots of y'alls. I feel so joyful, and the most awesome part of it is for no specific reason at all. Isn't that crazy cool? Well, we actually talked about that on my call, I think, that wouldn't it be great to feel good for no reason at all? Just to feel good. So that's fantastic. And then she says she anchored the state, which is in the program. If you're new, you'll get to it soon. There is, I will actually put it on the replay as well. I'll give you a little bonus there because we did do an extra call around anchoring states. And I'm doing this because that's part of the process. And I'll be honest with you, that one process of anchoring totally let go of a lot of my blushing in situations. So she said that she anchored it and had a nice chat with her unconscious mind, telling it that this feeling is what I want more because, and then all those reasons. So it's almost as if when you access those states of joy, because you will access them. You could be watching a movie, you could be listening to a song, you could be going for a run and you're feeling good, you could have a win, an achievement, and then suddenly you just anchor that feeling. And you'll get the process soon on the replay, but you'll literally just anchor it and neurologically they become interlinked. So remember that. As soon as we access the states, we can begin to utilize them now and in the future. So that's a fantastic win. And she just said in the comments, there's one of my outcomes that I want this year actually, to feel joyful for no specific reason at all. And on top of that, whatever the feeling is, that when we have a good feeling and we just keep on feeling it, you know what that does, right? We talked about this. You will look for more of the same. Neurologically, on a connection level, we're being lined up in alignment with what we want more of. And sometimes what I would say is, and we're going to go into some kind of achieving goals or resolving issues today, of course, but sometimes I think it's better to go by feelings more than goals, right? It sounds weird because it's nice to have goals because they're very specific in nature. And someone actually posted saying that it was such a great thing, actually. It was a great words when things come in to your existence in, I want to say it was April, I'm not sure though, regarding it'll come into your reality through situations known or unknown, or sources known and unknown. And what I said, just say right before that, this goal or something better will come to us from sources known or unknown. You have to look at the it was you, April, fantastic. I do try to remember these things. So yeah, and if you just kind of go this or something better, it avoids being locked down to just the one thing, because you don't know, you think that you know what you want, right? But I think sometimes by the nature of thinking that we know, we actually limit what we want. So it's always good to have what you want, but also say this or something better. That means you got a wider scope of getting exactly what you want. Okay, so that is what I really think is a great way of doing things. Okay, so with that in mind, if we go down that route, or like I was saying, if we just go by feelings, it means the feeling will match up with the right goal or outcome for you. So let me mute my messages. When you think about that as a way of being, if I'm just going by a feeling, like Deanie said, my goal this year is just to feel joy. It means you cannot be limiting yourself. You'll just go by the feeling. And that means the feeling that you're radiating most, the feeling that you're just getting out there, will be lined up with everything which has that feeling, which guess what, will probably be the goals that you want anyway. So sometimes I like the idea of just tuning into abundance. I just like feeling abundant, and I mean abundance money-wise, abundance in health, abundance in relationships or friendships or experiences. I think abundance to me sometimes encapsulates all of that. And that means if I'm just feeling abundant when I wake up and ready for all the new good things coming my way, I'm not limiting myself. Does that make sense? I'm not limiting myself if I'm just going by the feeling. And we have to remember the goals that you want, any goal that you want, will give you a certain feeling. So if you go, well, Joseph, my goal is, say I'm a coach or in business and I need X amount of customers per week, and that would mean I would want to earn X amount per week. What feeling would it give you if you were just to receive that amount every single week? And we could put it into, say, my goal is just to feel confidence, or to confidence in this situation. What will that cause you to feel? Not just confidence, but something else. Which means if you just radiate whatever that feeling is as much as you can, it will mean that we're tuned into it. It means we're totally aligned with it just by the feelings. So that is such a powerful thing when we say, just even going by feelings, or this, if we do have a goal, I want this or something better. It really allows us to move forward. So with that in mind, I want us to also look at some other wins right here before we get to the questions. So let's celebrate these. Let's go ahead. We got some on the comments, which came here. Let's see. So fantastic new member, Sue. We've got a connection way back. When I was in England, she was on one of my program, a training course, like being certified in NLP and so on. So fantastic to have her here. And her light bulb moment was this yesterday, when I actually spoke to her. Money highlights the true self. If you're a good person, money will allow you to be more, to do more good things. And if you're a bad person, money will mean you can do more bad things, or words to that effect. And I think that is really awesome, that you got that, because sometimes we will repel money based on our scarcity or our beliefs around it. We may see money and see the bad things that people do. But what I'm going to tell you is exactly this, right? And just kind of repeat it, going a little bit deeper into it. Money in itself will just highlight you as a way of being in this world. So if we think about it as that, it means if you are a good person and you know your intentions for money that you would receive, that quality will be expanded. Now, like Sue said, if we're like a negative or not a very nice person, it just expands that quality. So I think if we realize that we go, look, the money that is being welcomed into my life, or the confidence, or whatever it is, but specifically money in this context, it will just highlight me more. Now, if you're telling me that if you received the amount that you are worth, or the gifts that you put out there into the world, and you are making great changes because of that in the person and the person that affects, or the people that affects to that person, number one, that is a beautiful intention. In no matter what you are doing, whether it be even in your job or career or business, whatever it is, but also the money you receive, if you're a good person, guess what? It gives you more freedom to do more good things. It allows you to go, do you know what? I'm abundant. And I was telling this analogy, Susan, about this, where we moved recently, of course, and we had like a pull-out bed thing for guests in our old place, but we wanted to like get a new bed, and it was an investment, or costly, and we were thinking of just selling it, but we knew that someone else needed that, and we thought we could sell it. But we're an abundant place. We're abundant people. Even if we weren't, we're like, do you know what? We're just gonna do good anyway, knowing it will come back to us in a good way. Not for that reason, but just like the joy of giving. And I really believe when we operate from that level, we're actually sending the signal out far and wide that the money we receive, we're going to use it for good. Then if that happens, then surely it's going to want to flow our way, right? So I really think that if we kind of experience it that way, if we think of what money really is an energetic transaction based on the value that you give, and sometimes we've got to highlight our value on the money, on the effort that we give or the results that we get, which means when we do that, we're going to attract it because we can actually shine brighter. We can support our community. We can support our family members. We can support any charity or any situation because we're coming from a place that money is great because it allows me to do more. It allows me to help more. It allows me to expand more. It allows me to flourish in things. It doesn't mean we should be, if that's not your thing, but if we are unconsciously or consciously repelling it, I think it's good to know that because there's so much more we could do together as a group when we're just feeling abundance in material or the non-material. It really doesn't matter. It's the same philosophy in every single way. So I really, really appreciate that insight there because that's going to be such a good thing for where you're heading and what you're going to be receiving. Okay, so we're coming in with the great thing. Here's where the comments get buried, so it's always best for the Q&A. I should have said, no, just put it in the Q&A box. So been experiencing spontaneous outbursts of joy for more and more this year. Fantastic, Kevin. You're experiencing spontaneous outbursts of joy. Isn't that fantastic? Doesn't that mean it's for no reason at all than just to feel good? I love it. Good, good, good. Okay, so what else we got? We've got this or something better is coming to me by known and unknown sources, expected, unexpected. I love that sentence. So yeah, putting that this or something better. Sarah's got a win here. For me, this week would be seeing me running /fitness improve week on week after joining a running club earlier in the year. Fantastic. If you know me, you know that I love to run. I'm getting back into it, and I've got this psychology that when I do it, I just get into shape really quickly. So I'm so happy that that's going to be happening for you as well, even if it's just like maintenance and getting better. Kevin says, love the shirt. Thank you very much. I appreciate that too. Okay, so let's keep going. Money is just a tool. Absolutely. It can be used for good or bad. Yeah, and if we're saying, look, we're going to use it for good, then why wouldn't it come even better? Okay. I'm certain that Mind Mastery family only attracts good people who want to expand on their already good founder. I believe that too. I mean, we only allow people here with that intention because I'm super protective. Good. And then I've been contemplating abundance of time, trying to move forward from thinking of scarcity of time. I like that. I really like that. And if you're interested in more, gaining more time, look at the Mind Mastery Miracle Morning, because I promise you it takes like 45 minutes every day. And you're like, oh my, how can I do that? But ultimately, when you do that, you'll be gaining more time. And I want to talk a little bit about that today as well. Okay, so we got another win here. Have up-leveled my self-care with drinking more water and eating cleaner. Lost 6 pounds so far. I'm sleeping well and having more energy. Fantastic, April. You are putting this into action. We've also got one over here in the Q&A box. There's from Cheryl. I had a huge success Thursday night and this morning. I panicked thinking I didn't deserve the award because all I could remember was being yelled at age 5 and then punished severely for bragging, which I don't remember doing. I just remember being happy. I was so hurt, the older version of me could not remember what to do. I actually became ill and still have pain. I tried to celebrate, but these dark mirrors just took over, and you need a bit of help with this. Okay, no problems at all. So it's a great question to kick things off. If we've had a huge success, but we've been told that maybe we're not to celebrate because it comes from ego or showing off and things like that, we have to understand the difference between what is ego and what is non-ego, which is just being, here's the thing, ego or gratitude. That's what it's all about. Gratitude, love, self-care is the good side. But if we are coming from ego, then of course we're going out there shouting off and saying, oh, look at me, look at me. Now, we have to remember, and there's going to be fantastic for everyone. Let's do this. I'm really excited about this one. And it's going to be a very simple idea and process. So I want you to think about that. And this for everyone. If you've made a decision in the past, whether it be about this, to the inability to to celebrate, to share, or maybe you have other limiting thoughts about yourself or decisions that you made in the past. Okay, I want you to think about maybe that you might have something. It could be I had this one for sure, that because I was very skinny growing up, and then I kind of lost my way and put on a lot of weight, and then I thought I can't change. So there was a decision there, despite doing stuff, I couldn't change. My metabolism was very slow almost. It felt like I could look at food and then it would just be weight on top of me. It could be literally anything, right? The decision was made there. It could be about your value. Who am I to be able to put this stuff out there? Who am I to be able to receive what I'm worth? It is all about a decision we made, because when you came into this earth, when you came into your body, when you were born, you didn't have the concept, or maybe it could be in the womb, we can make decisions, but like before all of that stuff, it would be a good track for metabolism. We could definitely do that. I've done that with my clients before, and it's really, really cool because they wake up crazy warm. I know I've noticed that myself recently, like it's really, really warm. And it's like your body's just doing stuff while you sleep. Once, of course, we've got to resolve the conflict behind it, but it's definitely a good add-on there. But if we think about like any limiting decision that you may have made, because before coming into this world, or as we're growing up, there would be a time when we did not believe that. Can we agree there must be at least one moment in time where that decision or belief didn't exist? It must be, right? Because I really believe that when we come into this world, we're whole and pure, or even whatever our beliefs are, even before that. But then as we go through life, we go through experiences, we start to make certain conclusions, certain ideas about the world, about ourselves. And those beliefs can be like, I am not good enough. Those beliefs could be, I am not able to share my wins. It feels bad because of a certain set of experiences, known or unknown, you may have forgotten. But I want you to consider this as a way of being, that every limiting belief or behavior that we have was created by a decision. You see, I could be walking down the streets when I was a kid, and I'm walking down and someone just pushes me over, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened here? I could go down the street again, next day someone pushes me over, I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened here? Third time it happens again, and that moment I'm like, the world is a bad place. So the experiences leading up to that made me make a decision, okay? Made me make a decision to not do something, or to see the world like how I presently see it as an adult, or maybe the limiting belief or decision about ourselves, like the I am not capable, I am not deserving. Does that make sense so far? Does everyone have something? You can re-listen to this when I add a little bit of a editing to it, but do we have something which we feel is a limitation? And if you don't have something which is a limitation, that is a kind of a limiting thing to have, right? Good. So we got lots and lots here. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes for this. It's going to be a cool little process. I want you to close your eyes and just consider what that would be. Like, how do you see that limitation in your mind? Like, what's the building blocks of that limitation? It could be a belief. It could be symbolic in how you see yourself, or pictures or symbols or colors. It could be sounds. It could be just the feeling of what that issue is. It's okay. It's here. We may as well honor it for being here, because it is a signal that something is about to change, for something that we're ready to release. But with your eyes closed, just consider the building blocks of it, of how you relate to it, how you associate it. You can hear it, see it, hear it, or I think I might have said that, to feel it. However you experience that, as you look at it, is just fine. In other words, have it in your mind, the representation of how you know that is in existence for you. Now, as you do that, I want you to consider this. I want you to imagine as if you see it for what it really is in front of you. Because you know, as you look at that in front of you, it is simply a belief or a behavior, a feeling, a decision. But see it for what it really is. And just note what you can take from that just moment, as if you're looking at it for what it really is. Because ultimately, our beliefs that we have are simple behaviors that we're running for a long time. So the behavior or the decision or the belief is a strategy we've been running. And it hasn't always been in place, has it? It hasn't always existed. It was created somehow. And we can respect even maybe the intention behind it. We can respect the intention of what maybe it's tried to do, despite the effects of that behavior or that limitation or that belief. We can at least respect the unconscious mind's reasoning to decide upon that. Maybe it was over a stressful situation. However it came into existence, our unconscious mind made that for a reason. That decision for a reason. And I want you to imagine as if you could float up above that situation, not the now even. As if you're just floating up above, and you may see it, hear it, or feel it. But I want you to imagine as if you were to go way high and over back for a moment. As if you're going so far back before the time of that decision was created. As if you're going so far back, the building blocks of how we came to that conclusion even existed. Like it was just way before that. Even in our mind, as we go farther and farther back, go way back before the building blocks of that decision. But even still, imagine that you're going further back. And as you notice that, when everything just was, when everything was just whole, when you're tuned in to the love, to the beingness, when everything was just oneness, before the construct of not only that limiting belief or decision or behavior, but even the construct of other things, the place where everything just was. Now notice what feelings would be there if you were in that place of oneness. What new feelings would you welcome in? Maybe it is the resources, the confidence, the safety, the security, the knowingness. Maybe there would be the belief of just being. Maybe you would create beliefs that if you had off out into the future would change the way you see yourself or the world because of that. Now, as you go to that place of just beingness, ask yourself, in relation to that old issue in front of you, which was decided upon based on certain experiences, when maybe we weren't old enough or wise enough to make a different decision, which would be more beneficial. What would you ask that wholeness when it comes to learnings, that beingness? What new decision would you consciously and unconsciously create now? that I am fill in the blank, that I can fill in the blank, I can act and react, fill in the blank. In this space, in this place, in this knowingness, what deep insights or learnings or epiphanies would you allow to bubble up to you that would change your perception in the place before it ever existed? What learnings would be there for you, readily available for you, that could be used off out into the future, that would allow you to be safer in every way? Consider what would be the most beneficial, the most loving, the most profound, convenient assumption, which would be better than that old limiting decision. With all the knowledge and information you have now as a way of being, what new insights, growth, would allow you to fully experience what is really true? Not the illusion that was created, that old illusion which was created off out there, but what new truth? Ask yourself, what is the real truth here about me as a way of being in this world, that I would allow myself to fully be, have and do, to act and react based off the highest intention of me, the highest purity, not from ego, not from scarcity, but from the purest of the pure, from the connected to the connected, to the beingness, to the oneness, to the love, to the absolute unlimited potentialities of you. What new insights would you have? And allow them to create a feeling. Allow them to generate new ways of acting and reacting in this place that would not only benefit you, because you're more you than you've ever been. You are always more than that. You are more than enough. You are so worthy. You are so capable in this place right here, beyond limitation, before any decision which was made. Notice what feelings it would allow you to have on the inside. Notice where those learnings, those feelings, those ideas, those new profound insights and beliefs would nourish your body, to nourish your soul, to nourish your beingness, and allow them to expand. Allow them to grow. Allow them to go beyond you, because there is no boundary. Allow them as if you were just showing them off out into the future. Each one of those learnings, each one of those ideas, each one of those insights, as if they're going far and wide out off into the future, transforming and transcending any limiting decision which may have happened. But now with this insight, you can choose to react differently, because you have a greater scope of awareness, and you know that this new way will not only help you in being safer, will not only allow you to experience more joy for no reason at all, more abundance, more happiness, more gratitude, but you know the byproduct of doing so, as it goes far and wide into your future, the ripple effects go far and wide to those that you meet, to those that you help, to those that you are connected to, from those who you know you're connected to those that you don't know yet. But how that way of being radiates and lightens up, melting away old limitations, for this new insight, this growth, this set of epiphanies, these learnings, give you the opportunity to be safe. It gives you the opportunity to be you. Because if you're not you, then it sounds a bit silly, because you are you. So you may as well embrace all the joy, all the learnings, all the growth, knowing it will support you off out into the future. You see, the successes you have, the wins that you've had, the achievements that you have, that is who you are. It is a part of you. It is a part of your life. So radiate and share them, even on the inside at first. You can say thank you on the inside to your unconscious for supporting you, for allowing you to shine even more, to be more and have more, to experience that transformation beyond boundary, beyond limitation. And then notice how you can move forward through time with all that boundless transformation, with all that insight you're gathering along the way, learning and growing and releasing what no longer serves you, which releases because everything in conflict with you being the fantastic, the phenomenal, the beautiful, the loving, the joyful, the confident, the freedom, the gratitude of you will begin to just disappear. It'll wane away because it served its purpose. But now with this new insight, you are safer because you are profound. You have all the abilities, the gratitude, the celebrations, and you can shine them far and wide to dissolve any conflict, any limitation. And notice how you go off out beyond this present time, but off out into the future, shining far and wide, and see all those that you impact because of this change. Now, to me, that is the most unselfish thing, because not only are you assisting people on their journey by you being fully you, you are showing them the light. You are showing them there's a different way of being. If we intend it or not, it doesn't matter. We are being an example of what can be done. And that means we can feel that abundance growing. We can see that it is a necessity to shine and be true to our self-worth and our self-love, because otherwise we're being of injustice to those in our life. Because of course we want to support those people, we want to grow with them, we want to help them, even in a verbal or just a non-verbal way. But notice how that can be expanded because you chose a new way. You saw the clarity of what can be done and where you're heading. And notice how good it feels having made that change, having gone beyond the limitation, having broken down that boundary, and having, because of that, the trail of transformation, the seen and the unseen to those that you are around, the shining of their energy, and what that would mean to that person or those people because you took a stand to go beyond the limitation. Feel that gratitude having made that change. And then when you're ready to go into a deeper transformation, you can just gently breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And this is where you can feel good for great reasons or no reasons. And then you can come all the way back, knowing your unconscious mind is setting in place a new paradigm, not based on scarcity or fear, but based on potentiality, based on what is truth, based on what is oneness and what is true safety. So breathe it in, and then when you exhale, you can begin to come all the way back and open your eyes, all the way back. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Good job. So April just says, I can see it and it feels amazing. Goosebumps. Good work. What else did we feel? I didn't ask that question, but what else did we feel? Knowing we can go beyond the limitation, beyond the decision which was made there. Because in that place, and I think this is going to be good to know in the future, but go ahead and let me know of what you learned. What epiphanies did you have? What insights did you have that changed how you saw that old limiting way of being? So Deanie says, I felt abundance. Fantastic. Let me just share my screen for a second. And the reason why this is so important, we felt lighter, great. Because as we go through, this is the future. Let's just say this is for now. Whoops. And this is the past. In the past, we made a decision. Now, when I went on live the other day, I said we cannot solve the problem based on the same mindset of the problem being created, which is kind of like what Einstein said, right? So what we have to do is ultimately go to the place before the existence of the decision which was made, which may have created the belief or the behavior or the value conflict or the issue in general. So we want to be able to go back there in our mind, and you can do this anytime. You'll have this process fully edited and everything, but you can go there for anything into that place before any judgments were made, before any decision. Now, if you go to that place of before that limitation, even if you go 5 minutes before that decision, whether you know it or not consciously, if you go 5 minutes before or just before in general, like going way back, your unconscious mind has to make a new decision based on not having that conflict. So when we preserve the learnings from there, when we're tapping into what is ultimately true, we have to come up with new way. And I also said, I would now on when I was going for a run, we're looking for new evidence. We're looking for unconscious evidence, which means we're now deciding a new decision before the conflict ever existed. And you can do that for anything. Does that make sense? Go ahead and let me know if that makes sense, that if we're going before the decision which was made, it was not in reality. If we're putting our unconscious mind back there, and I'll tell you, I'm going to go deeper with this. There's why I said like wholeness and love, because I really believe before the constructs of limiting decisions or beliefs or anything, we were just whole. So when we're accessing this wholeness or this pure love or this whole oneness beyond all conflict, we have to make new decisions in alignment of oneness, love, and wholeness. So we got here saying, I could visualize those past experiences with great clarity that were very responsible for my negativity towards myself. I could also see how the mindset was instrumental about what I consider mistakes made in my life. And so yeah, if we learn from that, we grow from that, we can then use those learnings in the future. Like pushing the rewind on our unconscious mind and revisiting the truths and skipping over the limiting beliefs, while also simultaneously resolving them. James says, thank you, Joseph. Been doing this timeline therapy process for a couple of weeks now, and I've seen improvements in my disability. Fantastic, my friend. And especially for you as well. I think that's going to be fantastic, letting go of any limiting decisions. But when it comes to the physical side, what if we go and learn from that decision? If we go before that decision ever existed, our body will start to recalibrate itself. Here's a great one as well from Susan saying, I went right back to me being born into the world and when I was just me, unashamedly, unapologetically me. Not worrying about doing things right or wrong or what other people think. I was just me, and that was enough. I was and still am a unique, amazing self, and that is definitely enough. It was then and it is now. I think everyone should be repeating and reading that right now. I went right back, well, not, you have to read that bit, but, well, you can actually. I went right back to me, and you could do this when I'm going right back to that source when I was just me. Unashamedly and unapologetically me. Not worrying about doing things right or wrong or what other people think. I was just me, and that was enough. I was, and I still am, my unique, amazing self. And this is definitely enough. Or that is definitely enough. It is. It was then and is now. So fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that is the truth of the matter. It's just we've somehow collected some decisions through our experiences. But when we realize those decisions are subjective, they're not truth. That is just a decision which was made based on the ability that we have then. So if we're young or if we're told and we didn't really know and we took it on as truth, subjectively, we can then let that go. Here we go as well. There's a great learning. I felt angry at first. That was that I was in such an unhealthy environment at home. But something Joseph said reminded me that I have my own back and I felt safer, and it was just a belief. It's not permanent. I also have more love in my life than I realize. And being the way I was, always seeing the flaws and striving so hard to be perfect, is not really who I am now. And just such a waste of time. Fantastic, Cheryl. Really, really good there. Because the other thing is, not everyone grows up in the right, great environment. Sometimes we're told things, even as an adult, it can still happen. If like a boss or past boss or relationship or things like that, and we take it on as truth, and we can be angry at it. But here's what I say, and you probably notice as well, being angry is like having poison for the person or the situation, but drinking it ourselves. So when we're feeling angry at something or about ourselves or all the whatever negative emotion is, it's like we've got this stuff for this person or situation, but we're just like drinking the poison ourselves. Now realize we may not have consciously decided to be in that environment, but what we can do, which I find is the most beautiful thing in the world, is we can learn because of it. We can learn to be better because of it. We can grow and overcome and be better because of it. We can be the example of getting better and getting stronger. We can show the way to ourselves and others that actually we're going to be more empowered because of it. So rather than the event dictating our experience, which it would have done because we are young or because we're in that situation, and it may have created limiting decisions and pain because of the consequence of that. But we can either keep on holding that in, we can keep on drinking that poison for that person or that event or just that association. Or we can go, do you know what? I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to get better because of this. I'm going to actually shine because of this. It's going to be the instigator. It's going to be the thing which sets me and shines me bigger and brighter than ever before. Because nothing can hold us down. Nothing can keep us down. We must go. I am going to learn because of this. It wasn't my fault. But you know what is? What I can do now? I can take responsibility for my own emotional state. Right here, right now. I can take responsibility for what I do here right now and to be the example of being better because of it. That's what I really think That's what I really think can be a very powerful tool. Like I've said, I did not like having the constant dread in my stomach and my heart and like the anxiety growing up most of the time at school. I didn't like it. But do you know what? It woke me up. It allowed me to do more because of it. It allowed me to grow. So I might as well, I can either use it to my advantage or I can use it to hinder me. I know what I'm going to choose, and I hope you choose the right one as well, where we go, I'm going to use this. What can I use from that experience which allows me to grow? Hey, maybe I'm going to shine brighter. Maybe I'm going to praise myself more. Maybe I'm going to give myself which I never had. Maybe I'm going to give that love to someone who doesn't have it either. Because I know what it's like to be there. I know what it's like. So what I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Or I'm just going to hold them in a space of pure transformation, verbally or non-verbally. I'm going to just radiate as much love and joy and purpose to be able to go, this is who I am in the world. The events do not dictate who I am. I can allow myself to be who I choose to create. Does that make sense? We have choice. We have freedom. We have the ability to think differently. Our past circumstance does not have to dictate our present. It doesn't have to dictate our future. Our past is not the product that we're going to be creating in the future. We're going to be the product of what we choose to create. We're going to allow life to be the product of what we're creating now as a team. So we've got another light bulb moment here. So, okay, actually before that, so Cheryl said, no wonder I get sick. Drinking poison. Wow, thank you, Joseph. No, thank you for that great question. Because that's what it is. The emotion that we feel, the anger or the resentment, which trust me, we're human. So don't feel bad that we felt that way or even that we do feel that way. It's worse to repress it, because that's when we get a lot of stuff happening, lots of trapped energy in our body, which is not good for the body. That is the stress. But acknowledge it for what it really is. It was an experience that we went through. What can I learn from that will allow me to free myself, allow me to be better because of it? I'm always interested in what can I learn from this? Good, bad, or indifferent situation. What can I learn from this? How can I get better because of this? The nature of this happening, how can I be better? When we come from that level, we're actually going, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm becoming. And that to me is a great way of getting better. So got a light bulb moment from Susan here as well. In hospital when I was born, I had my mum exclusively for myself. And when I was taken home, my older brother said he didn't want me and was jealous. So my mum probably had to give him a little bit more attention from then on. That's a great epiphany, right? And I'll tell you exactly why. It wasn't based on you. It wasn't about you. We can see as a kid or a baby, we felt that way. But ultimately, it wasn't about us. So why should we allow that thing, that situation, now as an adult, dictate us? Now we can look through the eyes of a brother, a mother, or any other person in any environment. What were the intentions there? Maybe they didn't have all the ability to resources. Maybe they were taught certain things. I'm not saying specifically for this context, but maybe other contexts, they weren't given or taught the skills that they were needed to deal with situations, which means we don't even have to have poison for them or ourselves. We might not like how it happened, but we can definitely grow because of it. So fantastic. So Dave says, I love the analogy of ingesting the poison ourselves. It really hits home for how internal hate and happiness is damaging to us. Absolutely is. I mean, think about it. If you're so happy and joyful and abundant all the time, then our body feels good. If we're harboring anger, it's true. We know that if we're not we say it all the time, like digesting stuff or like the symbolic words that we use. I want you to notice this. The symbolic words that we use usually explain a lot of our physical symptoms at time. Like, I can't digest this, for example. There's many other They'll pop up to me if they'll have to. But there's words that we say, and that is a direct symbolic meaning for parts of our body which can be affected. So why not just go, do you know what? Now's time to release all that no longer serves me. Let's have a time right now to release all that no longer serves me. And only learn from it, because that will serve me. Okay, so what about practitioners that say you have to clear your pain? I feel that is re-traumatizing. By clear, does that mean like going back to events? Maybe. That's not a thing that I believe in, like going into association. I don't think that's a good thing, because that just, yeah, that's right, reliving. That's been proven also to just reconnect and obviously re-evoke those feelings and actually reinforce why we are like we are. Because you're going back to the time of the same knowledge and information of how it was created. So how can you actually think of something differently? We have to, at the very least, step outside of that and learn from it, grow from it, because then we got a new perception. Now, if we look through the eyes of our belief system of like spiritually, or our belief system of as an adult, or the belief system of what I think of you, or the belief system of what your partner thinks of you, in relation to that, we're suddenly going, now I can see differently. I can have a new perception, because I'm now not the person I was. I'm actually now coming from a place, especially this process, of beingness and oneness. Then we can only truly make the decision which will let go of those energetic ties, and therefore we're not re-engaging with the old issues. So that's what I really think. So I felt like I've let limiting beliefs slow me down for the past 2 years now, and I went back to when I started my new career and remembered how exciting I was. So I agree with Cheryl. Feels like I've wasted time. I've been grateful for the lessons along the way, but ready to move on to my future self. So I totally true. Okay, so Jean says, grateful that we don't, especially since some mind of young. Absolutely. So in other words, like going back is not always the best thing. We don't always know. We can't always come to the best conclusion. Better still, we can always just ask our unconscious mind, look, I'd like you to learn from this. I don't need to even, I'm not a visual person. I don't need to know what happened. I want you, the unconscious mind, to learn from this, which once learned will allow me to be safer. If we're being safer, it will not need to keep anger. Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, frustration, shame, all of those things are trying to protect us in some way. What does anger do, everybody? Go ahead and let me know. What does anger try to do intentionally? What's the positive intention of anger? So anger can make us take action on something? Absolutely. It can protect us? Absolutely. Defense, perhaps? Yeah. If we feel not respected? Yeah. So once again, a protection. It's given me enough backbone to stand up to things that aren't right for me? Absolutely. So the intention is good. What's the intention of fear? We know this one. Why would our body create fear? To keep us safe? Absolutely. What is the intention of guilt? What's the intention of guilt? Trickier one. So we don't make the same mistakes again. So therefore, absolutely, Cheryl, as well, protection. So we don't make the same mistakes again. What is the intention of sadness? What's the positive intention of feeling sad? Trickier one, I think. So Cheryl says, it's all down to protection and keeping us safe, isn't it? Pretty much, right? So when we're even sad, like, it shows that something's wrong, that something's hurt us, so it's paying attention to that. But when it's kind of, we hold on to it and we're not learned from it, because once again, sadness means we won't make the same mistakes. That person hurt me. That situation hurt me. I'm feeling sad, so I don't want that to happen again. Shame, the same thing, very similar to guilt. Trying to, like, if we feel shameful over something, it's trying to punish ourselves so we don't do something bad again. So I want you to think about that. If we realize the emotions that we're feeling, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, and shame, they're like the main ones. Really, it's anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and hurt. They're the real cool ones. And the other emotions you feel, like overwhelm or frustration, will be a mixture of those core emotions. So when we realize we can learn from it and grow from it and get better because of it, and actually by learning, I mean get safer ways of being, then the body doesn't need to keep holding it. If we allow that event to be something which is we're going to grow from because of it, it doesn't need to hold on to it anymore. We can acknowledge it for what it was because it's a signal. But we can allow it to, so in other words, we don't need to bury it, but we can accept that we feel something. It's sometimes good to accept that you're a feeling person. You're not a robot. So accept it, embrace it for a moment. Allow it to just be released by learning from it. So we can do that by just honoring it for what it is. For the intention was safety, but what else can I learn that once learned will allow me to be free of it and safe because of it? That's such a good lesson to know. The emotions you have, you can actually be stronger once we let them go. Learn from it, grow from it, be safer because of it. Does that make sense? And when you get the edited version of that process, trust me, we're going to go real powerful with that. Oh, I like this from April as well. Giving it gratitude. Say thank you for what it was, which is powerful, right? Yeah. The other thing is, I actually talked about this on another, I was doing a group call for another program. They'll get hired to do calls for other people sometimes, other companies. And I was briefly saying about the emotions that we feel. We've got to honor them. We've got to honor what our conflict is, because that means we're paying attention to it. We're not going to repress it and to go pretend it doesn't exist, because that's when it gets bigger, because your unconscious mind shouting you, going, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. But if we honor it for what it is, and even when I was saying about the Ho'oponopono one, that one, is that if we even just say to the event, to ourselves, to the person involved, I love you, thank you, forgive me, and I love you, thank you, oh, I'm sorry as well. Those 4 statements just changes your association to that person and that thing. It means it's allowing the emotion to simply disappear. So I love you, thank you, forgive me, and I'm sorry. For whatever it is, just kind of have that as a bit of a mantra when you're thinking of that issue, since it just begins to disappear. Another great one here. When I can release, I feel I give myself room to receive. Absolutely. How much room space are we renting out to our past right now? How much, like, if we think of each part of our brain as like being a room, how much are we renting out to people who shouldn't be there? They should be evicted by now. Those events should be evicted. So let's evict them. Let's let them go. Let's allow them on their way, because number one, most of the time, they don't even know that we're feeling those emotions. And that's why it's like drinking the poison. But if we give ourselves permission to let it go, to learn from it, then we're making more space to be better. So are we saying those 4 sentences, which are, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, and thank you, those 4, we are saying it to, in my opinion, I go for it's to myself, it's to the person, it's to the situation. It's to everything I can think of. However I hold that in my mind, I just want it to be everything, because it's going to just transform everything. I think it's such a powerful thing. Hey, guess what? Can we do this in the future? Can we have a Ho'oponopono process where I'm guiding it through? Can we do it? Would that be fun sometime? I think it'd be amazing to be able to just do this. Because all it is, it's a great way of transcending negative stuff. Okay, we're getting a ton of yeses here, so I think that will be brilliant, fantastic. Ho'onopono. That's pretty much how I would say, yeah. It just comes from like Hawaii, or it comes before that as well because of like the migration of the culture, but from like Huna, and it's just like it's more kind of Buddhist kind of way of thinking. But regardless of our religious beliefs or our viewpoints, think of just the purity of each one of those words. It comes from different angles. So with our intention to release what no longer serves us by those 4 sentences, and putting that true energetic power and love and all of that into all of it, then I did do a podcast. Thank you for that, Dini. So yeah, take that out. So on New Zealand as well. So it would have come from like that's like the Polynesian area. If you think of all that area, it was like a collection of philosophies, from my understanding. The person who trained me to be a trainer was very connected with Huna and everything, and he used to like take guided trips to the volcanoes and things, like little quests, and so I kind of learned quite a bit of it from him. But obviously, it's comes from different places, I guess. So yes, I think we should definitely do that. So Cheryl says, I'm saying it now to my family and I'm feeling lighter. Fantastic. Okay, so do you want a quick group experiment? Let's go a bit crazy today. I'm in that mood. Okay, cool. So go ahead and close your eyes. Good. As you close your eyes, these can be very, very small. But I want you to hold in your mind right now to all the people here and all the people in our Mind Mastery family, the collective energy of each and every one, the individual to the group. Just hold them in your mind however you do it, however you experience that, even if it's just the intent. Even have you over there, as if you're just seeing our whole beautiful selves. Now we know that us out there, and hopefully I'm out there too, please, because that's going to be great for me. But when I'm out there, you're out there, and every other member's out there. You can see beyond the illusion of what we perceive as limitations. You know that to be true. We don't always see it in ourselves, but you definitely know that each one of us in this program, in this group, are so uniquely beautiful and pure and loving and just pure joy. We know that to be true. That each one of those people over there is a child of someone else's. They're a person. They were created. They're connected with other people. They're in certain roles, maybe as a mother or a father or a brother or a sister, an aunt or an uncle. We can see the joy of who they really are. And whatever feeling that gives you, knowing that purity, I want you, as looking at them all, with as much intensity of wonder and joy, with the most powerful intention, I want you to see their issues for what they really are, which are illusionary. They were created, but it's not truth. It's not real. It's real for them, but we know differently. We know how great they are. We know how they're just enough. They're good enough. They're great. So go ahead to each and every single group member and all those before them, all through their past. Just go ahead with the most loving intention and energy. Say, I love you. From the purest heart of you. Just say I love you to them all. To yourself, to every member. We're all there. You may feel it being received back to you, but go ahead and send that I love you. Because we are connected on an energetical level. We're connected right here and right now, and we believe anything can happen. We can transform the limitation into potentiality. So say I love you to each and every member, to each part of their past, in terms of giving that freedom, all those learnings. You can also say I'm sorry. And think of the purest energy of that. I'm just sorry. With the most love in every way, I'm sorry. For everyone in this group, I love you and I'm sorry. You can even say, forgive me. And you can even pass that forgiveness to every single member so they have the opportunity to forgive too. And say thank you for being you, for being here, being ready to let go now. And you might receive that love, that thanks, that sorry, that absolute forgiveness for the things we thought. But receive it in any way that you wish, that will support you in the most beneficial way. As you're radiating it out, you're receiving it back in. Because you know that everyone else right here, right now is giving that to you. So for everything that you're pushing out and radiating to them, you're getting hundreds back. For every love, thanks, forgiveness, I'm sorry, that you're radiating out, you're getting it back 100-fold. And it is just going to lighten each and every aspect of our neurology in every way. So receive it as greatly as you radiate it out. And as you receive it, knowing that you are the potentiality, feel good and thanks for that. And say to yourself, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. And thank you. And then you can come all the way back and open your eyes. Good work. So Kevin says, whoa, yeah. Then he says, okay, that was beautiful. I'm speechless. Cheryl says, well, I'm crying, but I feel much better. That's the release right there. Deanie is in agreement. James said, love. That's it, right? Love. Sarah said, that was a good one. Diane said, that was sweet. And I think I'm feeling that electricity in myself, by the way. I'm kind of feeling tingly. Can you feel tingly too? Kevin says, so peaceful. April says, tears in my eyes. Because I was reading the next one. Hands are tingling. James can feel the tingles. Dean says, I do feel tingly and electric. Me too. Jittering over here. Susan says, I feel so much taller. My head is higher. My shoulders are lower. There we go. I need that as well. I'm going to take that. Chakras are open. I feel energized. I think, we should do like a special. I've read lots of books over the last year or so about like group experiments. And I think it'd be really cool to have something like that. Like a one-off, not one-off, but a test one-off and see what greatness we can do. Because I'm always trying to hold this for you, but I think we can transcend so much more. So sharing love to people I don't know, well, that was a first, but it felt so right. I love that one. That gives me the tingles. So, fantastic. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited. Oh, there we go. Cheryl says, I love you right back, Dave. Feel that, Dave. And that's what I mean. We're now grouped. We're connected. We have shared something today. So I do know I want to get through another question. I know we're on a bit of a high right now. Got one right here, and it says, I'm currently in a direct sales business, but I need to scale up financially to be able to fund many of my other future goals. For some reason, I have lost urgency and passion and needed to take it to the next level, although I know it will change everything for the better. So I want to have energy and take this action steps aligned in growing my business, expanding my reach, and attracting the right people and building financial leverage. And it could, this person saying it must be a limiting belief, but I can't put my finger on it. Why would I still on saying that I know it would give me what I want? Okay. So I love reading these comments at the same time. So it could be, one of the things here, it could be the negative story I'm telling myself about the few negative experiences, which could lead to limiting beliefs and decisions. So I'd ask yourself, as you think about those goals, what belief do you have about yourself? When you think about going for those goals, what belief do you have about yourself? As you think of the symptoms and the feelings that you're going through which are stopping you, what belief do you have about yourself? Now, if something pops up right there and you say, I am not something, I would want to let go of that limiting decision or that limiting belief, because that could be the thing. So that's how we can discover. If you're having issues with that, go in the first pre-module of the program and go through the core issue, hidden issue finder. It might show things up for us, okay? It might just get to that thing. But the other thing we need to do is two things, which I love doing myself. Let me see. Okay. We got to do two things. We got to draw a line in the sand. We've got to draw a line in the sand. Oops, that's a funny line, my mouse. And we got to say, look, this is the goal. And we can like kind of scrap that out and go, actually, this is my outcome, just for fun. Outcomes are better than goals. And this is the lack of. Now, usually we're operating between these two, right? We're operating between, so we've got a kind of a goal, but operating from back and forth of the lack and the forward and the lack and the forward. But we want to be able to widen that. Oops, go forward a bit. So we want to be able to expand upon each one. I want you to think of, like, for this question here, for anyone else who wants to widen their motivation upwards, think of all the things which this, if we don't solve this issue, is not going to get us. So it's not going to get us X, Y, Z. It's going to cause us to feel X, Y, Z. And it's a bit of a horrible, painful process. It's what I would call, and what some other people call, is like the Dickens effect, which is ultimately you're thinking, you know, like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. You kind of think of, if I don't get this, or if I carry on the same way, this is going to happen. And that's scary. That's really not, I don't like that. All right, but it creates a fire in us. Like, become aware of all the things which you're missing out. If we stay this way for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that's not very nice. Most of the time, we're just thinking in the moment, or day to day, or week to week. We need to sometimes expand some of that. But then we got to counter it by coming up with all the greatness. And for this one, let's do it in the middle. Think of our outcome in the middle, and think of what this will get me. Okay, so this goal will get me, say, money. What will that money get me? It'll get me experiences. It'll get me freedom. It will allow me to shine up my good qualities, right? It'll just expand upon them. What else will it get me? It will give me success. What will that give me? It will give me confidence. And now we're branching out. What else will it do? It means I'm getting connected with people, which will mean I'm having more fun with people. What else will that get you? And then you start to build it out like this, and you're coming up with all your reasons. It's also in the program as well. I'm not sure if you've done that yet, or other people, but there's something called 100 Reasons. That's a good way as well. You can print that out and write down all your 100 reasons, and that's going to give you some drive and motivation. We've now widened it of what I don't want to happen to absolutely. That will fire you up. If you do that and look at the limiting belief behind it and just let that go through the program, if that's one of our things, then we're going to really allow us to just move forward. It's when we're operating in the no man's zone, we don't get anywhere. But if we start to incorporate all of this, we're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this change. And because if we just did this alone without therapeutic exercise, it wouldn't be that good, because now I'm just kind of stuck. Like, I know I really want to change, but I got this kind of fear here or lack of. But now we've widened it. You can now use the processes in the program to let go of that limiting belief. Does that make sense to people? If there's like a way of framing it. Sometimes we're living in, I kind of want to change. Say, to take the example of someone who smokes. I kind of want to quit smoking, but I'll do it next week, next year. I don't really feel the effects of it yet, so I'm not going to do it, but I might do it later on. We're just like in this no man's land. We've got to widen that and go, look, if I carry on smoking for the next 5 years, what's going to happen? When I used to hold my practice, I used to make people cry doing this. Like seeing grown women cry because they're realizing, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle very efficiently. Or I'm not going to be lasting longer because if I carry them down this route, it could be like drugs or alcohol or whatever it is. They're not going to be here. So that's scary. It's not like I might quit tomorrow. It's like I'm going to quit now. And also we go down the other path of what will happen once you've made that change. That is exciting. That's exciting. That's enlightening. That is empowering because I'm going to walk my daughter down the aisle. I'm going to be that fit, healthy dad. I'm going to be able to achieve this, run that marathon. Now we've widened it so much that like I've got momentum here. I know why I'm going to change. I know why I have to change. And that creates that momentum. And then if you use the processes to let go of that limiting belief or the decision, now you can use the exact same process we did at the beginning of this to be able to let that go. So that's what I suggest on that question. It's a really, really good one. I know we're going over, but I'd love to be able to help you with this. Okay, I think this was it. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over this one as well. In the context of being coached, how do I turn advice from someone that doesn't know me well, that I feel is not accurate or positive for me, to hear into a positive for my growth and continued growth? So if we're getting advice from people who don't know us very well, who I feel is not an accurate or positive for me, then I've got to question myself in one thing. Is it that they don't know me? Or is it that I'm not really being truthful with myself? I'm not sure that would be the case, but I want us to be aware that is it that they're highlighting something that I dislike about myself and I'm going, look, that's not me. If that happens, like we've got to take ownership and be honest about stuff sometimes. So explore that first. But then the other part is if they don't know who you are and they're telling you certain advice, I mean, even for me, right? Say if this was me, I want you to like see what's true or not, what's not true. If it's not true for you, it's fine. Use what you can from that person in terms of their advice of what is good, and then add it to you. I've done lots of courses and programs over the years. Some things I think are terrible, some things were great. I've learned from every single one of them in some way. What can I learn from that? And that will get you your continued growth. And the other one is the second part of that is receiving information from various amount of people is giving information overload. Well, yeah, I get that because you're getting like information from everyone. That's hard. So what I would do is honestly, like I don't want to encroach on other people's programs or coaches and things like that. That's not for me to do. But I would go with what feels right. What intuition? Because the way I get my success, I promise you, I focus on one thing. In the beginning, it was, I'm just going to do podcasts. That's all. Like, I obviously just have my private practice, but I can just do one thing. I'm going to do podcasts. I'm going to get very good at it. In fact, I've been saying this to myself a lot recently. It's a Bruce Lee quote, I believe. And he said something to the words of, I don't fear the person who has 1,000 techniques. I fear the person who's practiced the one thing 1,000 times. See that? Look at that difference there. It's not about all the things. He doesn't fear that person because they're like a master of none. But he fears a person who's practiced that one thing over and over and over and over and over again to be the best they can be. And if I think of that, like, I know I've got certain processes that I practice over and over again, and I know I'm going to get that result. Like, I have so much belief in me. I know when I was doing I'm getting back into the podcast. If you don't know, it's a new episode last Friday, I think. There's one coming out Monday and Thursday, pre-recorded. But I know when I did my podcast, I was going to get really good at it. And I was like number one on iTunes in the self-help in England, and I'm a top 5 most of the time. Then I went off because I was doing other things, but I got so good at that one thing. That's what I want to be. Like, I used to help everyone, smoking, weight management, which I was very good at. But you know what? What I'm most purposeful and passionate for is letting go of people with limiting beliefs and anxiety and confidence issues. That's like my biggest joy, because I know a lot of it comes to the core of that. I know that because I experienced that myself. And if I get fantastic at that one thing, I know it's going to be great. So I am like down that philosophy. I'm going to focus on one thing that if I do 100% all the time, I can modify it, but 100% all the time, I'm going to be the best at it. And it keeps us from the shining object syndrome. Yeah, I said, jack of all trades, a master of one. And I put that in the same thing. Like when I've worked with people with hypnosis practices, they're like, their website is, I let go of smoking, I let go of weight management, I let go of confidence, presentation, relationship stuff, this. As a customer, I go down like, which one am I? I mean, have I got that or this? And I'm blood. But if I go out there as a hypnotist, say, look, I let go of anxiety and get you to be confident. They're like, that's me. Anyone who is not that is not my customer. They can move on and find someone who else does that. But I'm going to focus on the one things or the information I'm getting from that one person who's going to really, I feel, nourishes me and is in alignment with me. That's what I really believe in. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I do not fear the man who's practiced 1,000 techniques. I fear the man who has practiced the one technique 1,000 times. That is powerful. I really believe that to be true. So with that, I know we've gone over, but I hope you had fun as much as I had fun. I'm going to do obviously the editing when it comes to the processes from the group one and the middle end and then the beginning one, put all the cool stuff to it, and my system has been recording it perfectly, which is good. Had a mishap the other day with mine, but it is recording it perfectly. So thank you all for your kindest words. I really appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to shine, grow together, and get exactly what we deserve and desire. So you have the most beautiful and wonderful weekend, wherever you are, and I look forward to speaking to you on a future call. Thanks for showing up, stepping up, and making a change. See you all soon. Many thanks and goodbye. Oh, very quickly, post your epiphanies in the Facebook group. What did you learn? What did you grow? Because that level of learning and growth will help others. They're like, I didn't get that, but that makes sense. I'm going to use that. That's the growth part of things. So go ahead and do that. It's always fantastic that we're sharing and growing. So I hope you enjoyed that crazy cool coaching call. Now, if you want to be able to get access to these live and in person, to get exactly what you need to get exactly the results you want to unleash your mind, to get yourself to that deep security, the absolutely unrockable, unstoppable deep confidence, then all you gotta do, if you're ready and committed, is go to josephclough.info/go, and if you are a good fit, we'll definitely show you how we can support you and get you onto the program, which there's just like a small fraction of the type of things you get. But if you are a good fit, we'll definitely show you how. You gotta be ready, you gotta be willing, and if you are, we'll go ahead and share with you how we can make that happen. So just josephclough.info/go, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.